Hey guys, welcome to the Firebrand podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Billy. We're Next Gen pastors in Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome to the show.
Let's get started. All right, let's settle a debate in our house.
This debate isn't ever going to be settled. So.
Never, but it's been a debate for 13 years now.
What are you drinking today?
A coffee.
Clearly.
It's the only thing I drink.
What's your go-to coffee right now?
A vanilla latte, hands down. Classic.
Yeah.
Has never swayed. What are you drinking?
Always will be, forever, tried and true, good old Red Bull.
It's not that great.
Listen.
Will you try this?
Never.
Okay. What's your favorite flavor?
I should say never, but if there's money involved, or I will try coffee for you.
What about when you're like 80 sitting on the porch with me?
Still not coffee.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to drink Red Bull.
That's all right. Agree to disagree.
What flavor are you drinking?
This is the summer edition, the June berry. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many Red Bulls do you drink in one sitting?
Are we talking like 10 years ago? Or are we talking 10 days ago?
10 days ago.
2.
10 years ago.
4.
That is absurd. I feel like...
That's good.
No, I feel
I'm
like
on the decline versus going the other way.
The fact that you would have 4 Red Bulls, what size?
The 20 ounce?
4. That's 80 ounces of Red Bull in a sitting. Mm-hmm. Are you trying to have a heart attack?
No, my heart is healthy.
Oh my gosh. I guess we can't say anything though because coffee and Red Bull, the caffeine is pretty equal.
Yeah, sugar. It's got it all.
It's like, what's worse for you?
Yeah.
Coffee or Red Bull?
That's the debate.
You decide. You tell us. All right, let's get into this.
We'd like to welcome our guests on today's episode. Let's give it up for Jacob Salguero.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, Jacob? How you
I'm
doing?
excited to be here. Excited to be with you guys.
Can you give us, just a little bit of history? Who are you? What are you about?
Yeah, so I'm a husband to the most amazing woman in the world. I'm a father to a 10-month-old at this time. Little crawler, almost walker. He's like in that stage of like he's leaning on all the objects.
It's terrifying stage.
He's felt like 5 bajillion times, but I post content. So I do social media content, create content for churches, and I feel like I've named myself a Gen Z advocate, love my generation, love the people in my generation, and trying to push the church forward, like to really zone in on the forward generation. So Gen Z, and now we're starting to talk about Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
So I'm praying like all of us just lean forward, the church leans forward, and that's kind of my heart is like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and the future generation. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's super cool.
We
We're
appreciate
next gen pastors, so that's like our heartbeat too.
Yeah.
It's been cool to connect with you and like just hear more. But before we get into the topic today, which super excited to have you on for, we kind of wanted to talk about something that's really out there right now, and it's AI.
Sick.
This conversation on AI. Either you love it, you hate it, or you just don't understand it.
Right.
And so you're a Gen Zer, we are millennials. Will you tell us what your perspective is on AI?
I think it's like one of those things where I don't think Gen Z was surprised by it. I think other generations get surprised by technology since, they didn't grow up in technology and they suddenly had it. Like, I think about my mom. She always like makes jokes about how she had black and white TV. I'm like, I can't relate, sorry.
Yeah.
I've always had color TV. I've always had the internet. I've always had digital.
Yeah.
So new technologies that are coming in isn't a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Right? I think for a lot of our generation, it's just like, we're not surprised by new technology like other generations. Oh, it's just an add-on to our life.
Yeah.
So the AI thing was like, oh, this is cool. Like, instead of like, let's worry about it, we think, let's explore it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I did. The first thing I started doing was like going to the image generators and like playing with it.
Yeah.
And then watching YouTubes about how people make money. People are making 6 figures off of, copy AI and all these things.
Wild.
Like, it's crazy. So I use it for work all the time to generate captions and copy for clients or whatever. So I think our generation really just not surprised by technology. So
Yeah.
for a lot of people, they're like, oh, AI is going to, the robots are going to change the world. And Gen Z is like, oh, it's cool. Like, whatever. A new app, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's just another thing.
Yeah, new thing.
Yeah, I think that's like, to your point, like, it's just another thing. And I think it's interesting. Like, okay, a movie that was out big when we were younger, which wasn't too long ago, okay, but is iRobot with Will Smith. And when I think of AI, I think of iRobot.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like, dang, like the robots are AI.
When Gen Z thinks of Will Smith, they think of the slap. You know,
Yeah, that's so true.
like the infamous meme.
Yep.
But he went famous like on TikTok too.
Yeah,
like he was
yeah.
huge.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that is interesting. Like I think I think older generations tend to be a little bit dramatic when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, our Christian context.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know all the Bible and all that stuff, so we know like the last days and all that.
Yeah.
But our generation doesn't think from that perspective. They're fresh. It's just
Yeah.
something new, add on to my life.
Yeah.
Let me talk to the Snapchat AI and keep it moving. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you see with AI like drawing away from, or like a fear? Like, is there a fear within your generation about AI and the future that it could have, the impact it have in the future? Like, we were talking to one of our youth students, and she said, like, will my doctor know how to diagnose me? Will my pilot know how to fly a plane?
For sure.
Because you can cheat your way through education now with
sure.
AI, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I don't know if our generation has a fear of AI as much as it's a fear of the future in general. There's like a statistic about, I don't know the exact number, but it's the majority of our generation is like hopeless about the future. Like they don't see positive or hopeless about the next generation.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting that like we don't really see a future for us or for our children. And that's scary to think about.
Yeah.
So I do think the AI thing, it doesn't have a fear really. It's just like, okay, like I already don't have a good view of the future, but I'm just going to stick to today, which I think helps my generation. Like, because something new is coming out every single day. If you really have the perspective of it, new TikTok, new famous trending person, new song every day. So something new happening every day. So it's kind of like I don't have to look to 10 years in the future, which is the negative part.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna cheat on my college exam now because in the future I'm not even thinking about my future.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. We live day to day, which is in a sense really good because there's a lot of fearlessness in that, a lot of ambition, spontaneous in that. But there's also that part where it's like you're not really being conscientious of the future that you have. So I think AI is interesting, but I think again, like we're not surprised. It's like cool, something else, right? Because think about all the apps that rolled out since I was 11 to now 25. It's like millions of apps that came out and that infected my life and impacted my life. So I think our generation really speaks to that. It's like it's not surprises anymore, you know?
Yeah. That's such a cool perspective because I sit here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified.
Yeah,
right.
I'm terrified of AI. I'm not terrified of the future. So
sure.
that is such a difference. And it's really cool to hear that perspective. And just, I mean, to the point of like education, like you had a conversation recently about a lawyer.
Yeah. So there was a recent student at a university that almost graduated using artificial intelligence to write their papers and take their tests for them, and got caught in almost made it through college using
terrifying.
Something like Chat GPT or something like that.
I mean, that's impressive. We talked about this earlier. But that's impressive.
I mean,
there's a level that's impressive, but then like to the point of can my pilot fly my plane? Like, can my lawyer actually fight for me in court? Like, it's to that point.
The lawyer thing makes sense. The pilot, like, you have to like go to school, like practice that
for
more
sure.
than anything. But the doctor thing is interesting though.
Yeah. Like, will they use, an iPad punch in? I can't remember what TV show we were watching recently. It's a doctor show, but they like literally punch in the symptoms and a diagnosis comes up.
But I feel like
advanced. It's advanced.
Don't be surprised that one day we come up with like, I go to the hospital and they just scan me and they can see what's wrong with me.
That's so wild.
Which is like not bad, like but it is anything new is always going to be scary to older generations.
Yeah.
Because when you're young, every day is new. I feel like even older every young person can say, like, when you were young, something new was happening. Yeah. Every day is new. You're learning something new.
Yeah.
Older generations feel like they learned a lot already, saw a lot of life. So when something totally radical happens, they often like step back and are afraid.
That's so interesting.
Which makes sense because like you already saw so much life. I can only imagine like when the first TVs came out or something. It's like you're just chilling on radio, and next thing you know, you see a screen.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that's fearful.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you're a kid, you're like, okay, cool, something new.
That's awesome.
You see what I'm saying?
It's something new. Yeah, that's a really cool perspective. Well, we are excited to have you on to talk about, for our first episode for the show, just the value and the heart of Gen Z, which we've recently found you and followed you and just have fallen in love with the content you're putting out there. You're just straight shooter. And, one of the statements you make is Gen Z is the social media generation. And so kind of just talk to us a little bit, like, what do you feel is the heartbeat of Gen Z?
Yeah, I think Gen Z, to sum it up, is like authenticity. So we see the rise of influencers in our generation. So like basically influencers replaced celebrities.
Dang.
So like if you think about the past, you had like television, hosted by Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez.
You know what I'm saying? And everyone was following celeb culture.
Yeah.
Now my generation is following influencer culture.
That is insane when you say it that way.
Think about it. Like they're the new celebrities, but why? Like they don't have high production.
Yeah.
They're using iPhones.
Yeah.
And they're dancing on TikTok.
Yeah.
But they're being authentic.
Yeah.
Like they're making skits with like the cheapest wigs on the green screen at home, like influencers, and millions of reach, and them being true to themselves. So I think authenticity, I often say this, millennials wanted something relevant, but Gen Z wants something that's real.
That's wild.
And I think that was something that when I really felt that from God, I was like, this is what Gen Z wants, authenticity. From their leaders, from their celebrities, like when their influencers like hide something from them, they roast them, But like there's a girl, Alex Earl, I think that's her name is, and she like does tours of her room, and it's like so messy.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's like this is just who I am.
This is who I am, and I think that's what Gen Z really wants because they've seen all the fake. I think there's a stat around there about how they see almost 10,000 ads a day in some aspect, right? So it's either sponsored ads, so you gotta think about how much ads you see.
Yeah.
Banner ads, sponsored posts, story ads, like on all your platforms.
Yeah.
Almost 10,000, right? And sometimes people are doing an ad within a regular post, right?
Yeah.
So they see so many ads. So you see so much fake, so much sell that you need something real.
Yeah.
So I think that's to sum it up. Like, man, Gen Z wants something authentic, like just being yourself and not a copy of yourself or a fake version of yourself. Like, and I think part of that is because I think Gen Z has an identity crisis too, where it's like, they don't really know who they are yet, and they're really looking for people who are secure in who they are to look up to.
Yeah.
So they can follow those people.
Yeah.
So I think insecurity is a bad scent to the nose that is hungry to smell something sweet. To Gen Z. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So to touch on what we said a kind of a little bit about with AI, Gen Z, they're more adaptable. They're more, ready to take on what's changing. How do you see that benefiting them, or how do you see that hurting them with living in the now and what their future could hold?
For sure. I mean, I think all younger generations are constantly learning. So I think it's going to be a young people thing in general. But I think Gen Z, like, their adaptability is dangerous in a sense because they never build a foundation.
Okay, yeah.
Right? You're always adapting to something new.
Yeah.
And you never build something on one solid foundation. And that's why you see, like, I think when Gen Zs become believers, which is like a small percentage, they go crazy. Like, they're like all in. And I think that's because they finally found the foundation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the thing. Like, there's so many different foundations now for people. Like Jesus talks about 4 and now there's 4,000 in a sense. You know what I mean? Where like you can put your identity on anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Gen Z is like, that's the weakness, is like they're gonna find something.
Yeah. And what is the thing?
And the thing is, I think the church really struggled with showing like Christ as the foundation. Yeah. And they really pushed like church being the foundation. Yeah. Church, I love church. Church is the most important, like one of the most important things that happened in my life. But I think we often push like church being foundation and not Christ being the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people put their hope in church, and then my pastor fell. Well,
exactly. Yeah. And that it kind of goes into what I know you put online a lot, like don't build a service just to put on a production. And it goes back to millennials wanted, authentic. And at the time, authentic was worship that was timed, because whatever. But like, I think of church services now and how much they're changing. And this kind of ties into the last question we kind of wanted to ask you was, what does Gen Z need from the church, and what can church do to reach Gen Z in the most real way?
Yeah. The greatest asset the church has to Gen Z is community. Yeah. So the one thing Gen Z is looking for is community.
That's good.
So social media is literally just big community. We see Discord, we see gaming lobbies, we see Instagram group chats. Like, we're looking for a community. And what the church has done is put community in the back burner and service in the top. When you think in scripture, community was the first thing, and the service was the back burner, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I always say Acts 2, like Gen Z is the Acts 2 generation in the sense of they meet daily, they can break bread together online in a sense, they can just FaceTime, all that stuff. Yeah. They can listen to the apostles' teaching every single day together through social media, through Instagram, through YouTube, and they can pray for each other. Like that's
like
it.
they're more unified because they're online and they're connected, whether it's people they follow or they're all following the same account. They're all getting the same bread. If you say it's online, like it's the manna, if you will, like they're all getting the same bread. I think it's interesting. Like I look at like our youth students now, and they would rather have youth crews, which is our small group connect group hangs. They'd rather have those than these big services.
For sure.
And it just speaks so deeply to like what they desire out of church and what they want to get out of church. They want community. They want to connect with people. And, if church puts community first, kind of like you're saying, I think that is the winning answer for the future of the church. If you put community first, Gen Z will be there. You'll draw them in.
That's the greatest asset, greatest selling point. Because it's like, you can look through all of your life, all the areas of your life. There's no one who can say they really love you, really pray for you, really believe in you, really hope in you, than in the local church.
Yeah. So good.
But like I often say, because like we're looking for the authentic, it's kind of like practice what you preach. On Wednesday night, we scream, "We love you, youth," but you never texted me during the week.
Wow.
So it's like that idea is that balance of authenticity and community. Being in authentic community that really reaches out. My leaders are really texting you. Like my leaders are really having conversation with you. Like I'm going to your parties. I'm investing in your life. Like doing life, and you're not a system to me.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like I think we really have to change that. Like you're not a system to me.
That's so
You're
good.
really a person in my life. We're family. So I'm thinking family is the future of the church. And because of the also like stats around, divorce is high.
Yeah.
Fathers and mothers both have to work, so they're spending less time with their kids. I posted 2 days ago about how like 70% of moms and 74% of dads want to spend more time with their kid but can't. And it's like we see a generation like not in tune with their family.
Yeah.
So where are they looking for family? Online.
Yeah.
And what is the church posting? Invite me graphics.
Yeah.
Like inviting graphics. So I think there's a disconnect there too online, but it's a whole different conversation. But I think the community thing, authentic community of people who really love you and reaching out, that's the winner.
Yeah.
That was Jesus' model, and I think that's the model that's going to win the future.
Yeah, that's
great.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. I feel like I can ask you so many more questions.
Yeah, that's great. No, I appreciate you and your take on that with Jesus, as the foundation and community as, the greatest asset right now that the church has for Gen Z. And hopefully, I believe that there's a change coming for this generation coming into out of youth group, coming into the church. And, we appreciate people like you advocating for Gen Z and getting their voice, being a voice for them and doing what you do. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I would say this last point, like, I would say it's because of an older generation who advocated for me.
Oh, that's
like
good.
I'm a young person advocating for my generation. That's normal.
Yeah.
But my youth pastor was a 40-year-old Canadian, like who advocated for me and believed in me and like taught me these things in the sense in scripture and walked and did life with me, like really cared about me, checked in with me, like rode together, did life together, would sleep over at his house with his kids, like did life together. And that really built such a strong model in my heart. And then noticing the difference between me and all the other youth groups around my city and how they were disconnected and the kids in our youth group were still connected. And I think it was because of that. Like our youth, our older generation, like was hopped in, leaned in. And even literally all of our youth leaders of our youth group were all above 40.
That's wild.
It's like a small percentage under 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Now you see the flip, like everyone's under 20.
Yeah.
But it's like all these 40-year-olds who are like, I'm going to father you.
Yeah.
I'm going to mother you. Like I'm going to walk life with you. Man, I'm like forever grateful for that now because of them. But
yeah. No, that's such a good point. Oh my gosh. I mean, I think of my youth pastors and I think of like the impact that they made in my life. And if they hadn't done life with me in an authentic, real way, and like showed up to the things, showed up to dance competition, showed up to, prom photos, like they showed up for things. And then they called, they texted middle of the night, middle of the day, it didn't matter. They responded. And I think that is a piece that we're missing right now that I wish that we would all just get back to. It's just connect with people. I know we're going to do another conversation on social media, but with social media, like, you can follow a student online, but do you know their life offline? I think that's such an important point, right, to what we're all talking about here for the church. So, we just really, really appreciate your perspective on this. So tell our listeners and our viewers, how can they connect with you? What you got going on online?
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, Jacob Salguero. That's Salguero. you go to my website, jacobmouse.com/free. I have my free book, For the Love of Gen Z. Has basically over 100 stats. It's been downloaded in over like 17, 18 nations now.
That's great.
It has basically a bunch of stats and then a bunch of descriptions on how to apply those stats, basically. And that's it, jacobmouse.com/free, Jacob Salguero. And you can follow my YouTube channel, Church Convos Pod. But that's it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you again.
All right, that was so good what our guest Jacob shared with us. And there was something specific that I think he touched on that really kind of spoke to our hearts a little bit. And the idea that his youth pastor kind of shaped who he was, to be the man he is today. And that's something that we've, wanted to be as youth pastors to the next generation. So with that, we're going to jump into this next section here.
I'm really excited for this one. I am. I'm really excited. We have one of our very own youth students with us. Her name is Fiove Pena. What's your sound effect? Okay, mine was way better.
I'm so good at it, bro.
No, mine was way better. It's fine. We're excited for this segment. Okay, so this is called Roast or Rave. Roast or Rave. Fiove has gone through our Instagram, and we've been on Instagram for over a decade now.
Just over a decade.
We've been together over a decade. So Fiove has gone through our Instagrams and pulled out some photos with some captions and some good old OG Instagram filters to roast or rave about with us. So
I'm so sorry, Ashley. This is gonna be.
As long as we walk away and still love each other, I think I'm okay.
Oh, we will.
Okay.
We will.
I have a deeper love for each other.
Maybe.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, let's see the first one.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh my God.
This was crazy. OOTD. If you don't know what an OOTD is, it's a outfit of the day.
Does your generation still use that?
No.
OOTD? Okay.
No.
What do you say now? This is my fit?
If we use OOTD, it's very, very, ironically.
Oh my gosh, you're making fun of us.
I'm making fun of you. Okay. I'm going to read the caption. Real quick. I kind of cheated on my #February challenge yesterday. This means that she was doing an outfit challenge on Instagram, okay? This girl was posting her outfit every day.
This was so big back in 2013.
No. So here's day 4, OOTD, #mint, #polka dots, #combat, #fashion. Now, I don't really know if this is fashion right here. I mean, the color coordination is actually spectacular.
I cannot.
The teal.
That was your favorite color on me.
That was.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
See this is why, #mint. Did you like her combat boots, Billy?
The combat boots.
Oh gosh, I'm scared. Back then, not
back
now.
Then.
Yeah.
I would say even now. Yeah. I like combat boots.
It's not a thing. Do
On
you
Ashley?
wear?
You like them on Ashley?
Yes, I do.
He hesitated.
I'm so ready for
All right.
this next one. Okay. So I don't know if this is like a marathon or something that
This was the world race. This was our missions trip we did for a year.
Okay. Ready? Important items in my wardrobe for the #world race. Beanie and buff? Why? Because they will cover up my greasy hair from not showering in days! ! Ha ha ha. #world race buff. #world race beanie. #Sprigs race. #life of the sprig.
It's the way you read these for me. Like, the fact that you are like,
Bro.
this
The question
voice.
is that how you read it in your head?
Yes, that's how I read it in my head. That's how I imagine.
Why?
I imagine Ashley being like, #world race. #life of the sprigs. It's so.
I can't.
It's so funny. And the fact that you, admitted to the whole internet that you didn't shower.
Okay, In our defense, when you go on the world race, you don't know when you're going to get a good shower.
Okay.
You use a bucket to wash your hair. So that's what I meant by that.
You don't have to put that on the internet.
Yes, you do. It's fine.
But
what about Billy? Can we please talk about Billy in this photo?
Look.
This clean shaven face.
I don't
almost.
know. I feel like
Clean shave face.
I feel like Billy might. He kind of looks like you look like you're enjoying yourself, but he looks like he was low key forced to smile in this photo. Like, okay, I'm so ready. I'm so ready for the next one.
Oh, okay, that's not a bad one. That is not a bad one.
This one isn't bad. This one's cute.
This is a rave.
This one's cute.
Is this a rave? Okay.
I don't know what rave actually really means. Like, I feel like rave is more like a party or something.
Like rave, like it looks good. You're praising it. Are you like hating it or loving it?
That's like hyping.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. You named the segment. I'm
did.
not judging you. I'm raving you. I'm raving you. Okay. This one's cute. Okay.
Okay, good.
Date night at the point. Explanation mark. Picnic, dinner, and a movie. Look at the emojis, bro. The hard eyes. Okay.
I still use those emojis today.
No, okay. Everyone uses those emojis. I'm just saying that is cute.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
Hashtag Pittsburgh. Hashtag the point. This is where it got me, okay? This is where it really got me. Hashtag, why is he so tall? Or hashtag, why am I so short? What is this?
I can't.
Hashtag, why is he so tall?
He is tall, and I was just calling that out. Like, either he's tall or I'm short. Also, it's the way you said Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh, and you said Pittsburgh. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I feel like Pittsburgh isn't really that important to say it correctly.
Okay, it is.
Right.
It is that important.
Billy got
real offended by that one.
Billy got
Can we also
offended.
like take note that Billy looks like he's like 15 in this photo? He looks so young.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He has
I
a
think he looks
beard.
15.
Yeah.
Just trying to roast somebody else in this category.
No, I'm not. I feel like this one's cute. It's just the hashtags always get it from me, Ashley.
Hashtags were such a thing in 2013.
When I was stalking you, like
stalking.
Okay, it's a Gen Z thing to like stalk people. Okay, when I was stalking you, your hashtags just made me laugh every time.
I am so glad I brought you joy. Like, I'm so glad that if anything, I brought you a smile and a laugh for today.
Okay, now
I did my job.
in these next ones.
Oh gosh.
Ashley sold like scarves
For the world race.
Wait. Can we look at it? Can we look at it?
I made these, okay? And then I sold them.
She made these, okay?
It's caption.
Okay, stop. Let me read it. I've officially learned infinity scarf arm knitting, and I'm excited to start selling these for $20. $20, okay? Sprigs to the nations. Text me if you're interested. They're super cozy and not suffocating hot. Hashtag travel. Hashtag sprigs to the nations. Hashtag scarf. Hashtag crochet. Hashtag arm knitting. So many hashtags.
Thanks for roasting and thanks for raving, Fiove.
No problem.
Thanks for coming and being part.
I'm here anytime.
Yeah, anytime. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us and just being with us today for our episode. And we're super excited for what's to come. And so we will see you on our next episode.